So here we are, 80 years after that return. And Ezra is reminding the people about their history. And it's centered around the covenant with David for an eternal king. So, all the kings we're going to read about have something in common. A couple of things. They reign, and then they die. Nobody's eternal. So we're looking forward to what? Well, not to what, to who. We're looking forward to this eternal king that's going to fulfill this covenant. Well, his name is Jesus Christ, and he is the picture presented in this whole temple. Before the temple and in Solomon's day, there is the tabernacle that Moses built 480 years before. And the tabernacle was a temporary, portable, movable tent that did the same thing as the tabernacle will do, except the tabernacle's a permanent place. So both are prolific pictures of Jesus Christ, his person and his work. So here we are in Ezra's day, and the people they'd have the temple that was torn down, this one that Solomon's about to build 480 years later. We're going to about 100 years later, they're going to get it built again after Babylon, and but it's not the same. So when we go through the temple, and next week I'm going to try to get ready to bring up a YouTube video that really does a good job on a lot of things. It's only 10 minutes long, but so we come to Ezra's day, hundreds of years after Solomon, and Ezra is reminding the people, this temple that you have now, it's not like Solomon's. And this has caused kind of a lazy religious attitude in the people, kind of a downcast people, and Ezra's trying to do what he can to get them revved back up. And one of the things he's saying is, remember the glory of Solomon's temple. I know when you look at your current temple, it's not the same thing, but the same thing is represented. This is all about the hearts. And you guys, your hearts are not in this. So that's what he's trying to do. He's not just going to reveal this temple, this structure. He's revealing the heart of Solomon here, like he revealed the heart of David. So we come to verse 1 of 2 Chronicles chapter 2. Now, Solomon decided to build a house for the name of the Lord and a royal palace for himself. So my version says he decided, he makes an announcement that it's time to build the temple. So where really to find out where we're at a little bit closer is back at 1 Kings chapter 6, which tells the same story that Ezra got his information from. But in 1 Kings chapter 6 and verse 1, it says, "Now it came about in the 480th year after the sons of Israel came out of the land of Egypt, in the 4th year of Solomon's reign over Israel, in the month of Ziv, which is the 2nd month, that he began to build the house of the Lord." So that pins it down almost to the day that when we get to 2 Chronicles 2, 4 years have gone by since the death of David. And I don't see anything in Kings or Chronicles that tells us what happened in those 4 years. It says that God is establishing Solomon just like he did David. But here 4 years have gone by, and he says it came, 1 Kings 6:1, it came about in the 480th year after the sons of Israel. Now, this is kind of a side note here, but it is kind of interesting. 480 years it's been since the Exodus with Moses, first Passover. So Solomon becomes king 970. We're in the 4th year. That makes it 966, probably 965, but 966 in 1 Kings and in 2 Chronicles. This is the year. So 1 Kings 6:1 says that 480 years after the Exodus. So if you take 480 and add it, we're going back in time, but you have to add numbers. So you come up with 6:4:14. That's the date of the Exodus. Generally, if you ever read commentaries or story, they say 1445 is the best date. But anyway, so that would be the date of the Exodus, and they say 1445. So will I. If you go 40 years later, you got a 40-year wilderness wandering. 1405. That's when they entered the land. So again, the year right now is 966. That's just kind of where they get dates and how they get them. But it's another story how they come up with Solomon and David's. So yeah, we'll probably get into that a little later sometime. So Solomon makes the announcement, it's time to build the temple, 4 years after he took the throne. So Solomon assigned 70,000 men to carry loads and 80,000 men to quarry stone in the mountains and 3,600 to supervise them. This is a huge undertaking. He's got guys that are going to carry loads, and we're going to find out that these are not just Jewish guys, they're Gentile guys that live in the land. Some of them may have been prisoners of war from David's day. Uh, who knows? They're just Gentiles that are living in Israel. And I would compare this to an army draft. Uh, in other words, they don't have any choice in the matter, these guys. You're in. So something else back there in 1 Kings chapter 6. Actually, back in chapter 5 and verse 12, 1 Kings, the Lord gave wisdom to Solomon just as he promised him, and there was peace between Hiram and Solomon, and the two of them made a covenant. Verse 13. Now Solomon levied forced laborers from all Israel. We're just getting another version of what we read in Chronicles. Numbered 30,000 men. He sent them to Lebanon, 10,000 a month in relays. They were in Lebanon a month and 2 months at home. So this would apply to all of this. Another name is Corvée, but it's like I said, it's a draft. Uncle Solomon wants you, so you're in, and but they serve for a month, 2 months, then they go home for a month. So that's really a matter of grace on Solomon's part, because who are these guys? What do they do in Israel? Well, they have livestock, they're farmers, and a farmer just can't up and leave and take off for 7 years. And that's how long it's going to take to build the temple. But so he gives them time off. But even at that, if you're 2 months away from your farm, that's a lot. This took some doing for the people. They had to. If they didn't have sons and daughters to help with the farm, and who knows when that month off is going to come, or your 2 months of labor, if they come in September and October, that's planting season. That's when they plant the wheat. Some things to consider there, that this just the number of people involved, and what's involved between the lines. This is a huge deal. So back in 2 Chronicles, verse 3, Solomon sent word to Huram, the king of Tyre, saying, as you dealt with my father and sent him cedars to build him a house to dwell in, so do for me. Okay, if your version says Hiram, that's right, but mine says Huram. But back in 1 Chronicles 14, when this same king of Tyre is dealing with David, he's Hiram, H-I, not H-U. And so the experts say this is just a different spelling for the same name. So I'll call him Hiram from now on. That's who he is. And he's from Tyre, up here on the coast of Lebanon. This red line, these red lines is Israel. There's Jerusalem. This place, Joppa. That's a deep water port. And then up here, these squiggly lines is Lebanon. Now, if I make some more squiggly lines down the middle here, that'd be the Lebanese mountains. That's where the cedars of Lebanon grow, up on these mountains. That's why this king Hiram, that's why David and Solomon get involved with it. He's got timber. And Solomon is going to send a certain number of guys up there to help bring these timbers down, and they're probably going to stick them in the water and float them down to Joppa and then take them overland to Jerusalem or outside Jerusalem. Now, there's something else that says in Kings that's interesting about this temple is there. All of the stone quarries were somewhere around Jerusalem there, and we're talking 6 or 8 feet wide. Again, that much tall, and from 8 to 12 feet long. These things were huge. Now, oh yeah, huge. And they've got to move these things around. And then they've got to get them up. The top one's 45 feet. This temple's 45 feet high. Now, one kind of a side note is there is in Jerusalem today, not too long ago, you just can't go dig in Jerusalem wherever you want, but they have uncovered some of in Jesus' day was Herod's temple. He redid Solomon's temple and he made it real fancy and everything, but he brought in stones and they uncovered a stone, a building stone that is 45 feet long and 8 feet by 8 feet. And they said this thing weighs, I forget how many, 600 tons? And watching the video, the guy's there with a guide, and he's showing this stone that Herod had made, and he said they've had scientists, archaeologists, mathematicians, physicists, engineers all come and look at this rock to tell them how in the world they got it here. How can you move something like that 2,000 years ago? Well, over 2,000 years ago. So anyway, the point is Solomon's building stones, they're not that size, but they are sizable, and this is a huge undertaking. And so they have to make each stone at the quarry, because on site at Jerusalem, nobody's allowed to use a hammer, nothing. Every one of these, either these blocks all have numbers or they come in order, and you start here and you lay this row, and they all fit so close together all the way around that you can't even put a piece of paper in between them. And they're made in a quarry. So So people were just plumb handy, uh, real handy. I don't know how you make something like that square and plumb and flat, but anyway, because I can't even do it with clamps and yeah, squares and plumb bobs and whatnot. Anyway, but yeah, it would be humbling for anybody to really think this out, how they do stuff. Anyway, okay, so Saul, I'm sorry. No, that's a good question. We don't know where the quarters are. There's some there. There's Jerusalem. Now they have a place called the Cave of somebody, the Cave of Ezekiel or something like that, somewhere, like not too far from Jerusalem, but that was an old quarry, and they think, well, that was probably one of Solomon's quarries, but I don't know. I don't care if it was a block away. I still don't know how you move those things. But everything. Yeah, you've got block and tackles with a row of pulleys. Who knows? No, you'd want it. You'd want that to be your month off. Yeah. But so also, they've got to make brass things. In front of this temple, there's going to be 2 huge pillars that are, I forget, 6 or 8 feet around, and they're 45 feet high, maybe even taller. But that would be on that video, and they're cast bronze. So that means you've got to have like a smelter, a furnace, and big iron pots. And they did that on by the Jordan River. There's big clay deposits over here on the plain of the Jordan, and they evidently would dig out molds or whatever you call them to cast these bronze pillars in. And then you got to move those huge things from the Jordan River to uphill, like Carol said. Everything's uphill to Jerusalem. So, but right now we're dealing with something that goes all the way back to the Abrahamic covenant in Genesis chapter 12, where God told Abraham, through your seed, I'm going to build a nation, but I'm also going to bless. I'm going to build you a people, but from your seed, I'm also going to bless the nations. That's Gentiles. So what do we have here? Well, we've got this Gentile guy, and he's taken part, not a little part either. He's taken a big part in the building of the temple, and so are his woodcutters and whatever else. There is lots of Gentile labor involved in the building of the temple. So, go ahead, Carol. Zedekiah's cave. Okay. So I don't even know what that means, but they think that was a quarry where they got these huge limestone blocks. So, and again, they had to do everything out there, because when they're building a temple, there's nobody pounding out gold leaf to line the entire 45 feet tall, 90 feet long, and 45 feet wide floor, ceiling, everything is covered with gold leaf. And he's going to do this in 7 years. But we're in the 4th year, and it's possible he's probably already got guys doing different things. Anyway, so here we've got this Hiram, and he is the same guy, again, back in 1 Chronicles 14 and verse 1, that helps David. 1 Chronicles 14:1, now Hiram, king of Tyre, sent messengers to David with cedar trees, masons, and carpenters to build a house for him. Same guy. Same guy. So, verse 4, the first order of business on Solomon's heart is the workings of the priests, the sons of Aaron, of which one is the high priest. Second Chronicles 2. Build a. Now who's he? He's talking to his buddy Hiram, the king of Tyre. Tyre is Canaanite country, by the way. Tyre and Sidon on the coast, those are like Minneapolis, St. Paul. They're sister cities, I think they call them. And there is, coming up in about 150 years, an infamous character who's going to come from that city of, is she from Tyre or Sidon? You know who I'm talking about? Actually, she's a queen. Jezebel. Yeah, she marries Ahab. Jewish guy, king. And she is the princess. She is the daughter of the king of Sidon, I think it is, Tyre or Sidon. But she is the queen of Israel for 20-something years. So I'm sure the minute I said Jezebel, okay, oh yeah, heard of her. Everybody's heard of her. Anyway, that's where Hiram is from. She's the one that brought Baal worship to Israel, to Ahab's house, and anyway. Back in 2 Chronicles 2 and verse 4, behold, I'm about to build a house for the name of the Lord my God, dedicating it to him. Now here's the priestly duties right here: to burn fragrant incense before him, and to set out the showbread continually, and to offer burnt offerings morning and evening on Sabbaths and on new moons and on the appointed feast of the Lord our God, this being required forever in Israel. So that these things are done by the priest and the high priest, the sons of Aaron. That's the first order of business in uh, Solomon's heart. Keep in mind here, he never mentions himself here. And what I mean, he does say, "I'm building a house," but what's his end thought here is to glorify God. I'm working to glorify God. If I don't pull anything else out of this, here we go again with all these numbers and details about things that what do I do with this? You look at Solomon's heart. That's what you do. So that's what Ezra is trying to get through to his people. That 400 or 500 years after Solomon. That's what he's showing them here. So verse 5, the house which I am about to build will be great. For here's why it's going to be great. For greater is our God than all the gods. Remember who he's talking to here. He's talking to Hiram. He is a pagan Canaanite. And Solomon is witnessing to this man. That's what he's doing. Verse 6. Now he makes this great statement that everybody, especially me, need to look at this and drive it home. But who is able to build a house for him? For the heavens and the highest heavens cannot contain him. So who am I? Those are very important words from Solomon, the guy who's got all the wisdom, all the wealth. He's got everything, but listen to him now. Who am I? And it's a rhetorical question that says, I'm a nobody. Who am I that I should build a house for him, except to burn incense before him? Now, the incense thing is this fragrant oil that's poured over hot coals that the smoke goes up, representing the prayers of the priest for the people. It's going to be inside this temple. So that's what he's referring to here. Who am I? Why me to get things set in the correct worshipful order? I'm a nobody. Okay. Still talking to Hiram here. Verse 7. Okay, Hiram, now send me a skilled man to work in gold, silver, brass, iron, in purple, crimson, and violet fabrics, and who knows how to make engravings to work with skilled men, whom I have in Judah and Jerusalem. Okay, I've got skilled guys. They can do this stuff. Look at the laundry list of stuff this guy's got to be an expert at. Gold, silver, cloth. He's got to be a blacksmith and a tailor. He's and not just any old. He just, I want the top of the line here. Okay. He says, I've got skilled men, but I need somebody to be over them who is more skilled than they are. Verse 8. send me also cedar, cypress, and algum timber from Lebanon. For I know that your servants know how to cut timber of Lebanon. And indeed, my servants will work with your servants to prepare timber in abundance for me, for the house which I am about to build, which will be for the house which I am about to build will be great and wonderful. Now, verse 10, Hiram, behold, I will give to your servants, the woodsmen who cut the timber, 20,000 cores of crushed wheat, and 20,000 cores of barley, and 20,000 baths of wine, and 20,000 baths of oil. This is I don't want this for free. This is not, look, at this time in earth history, nobody messes with Israel. My dad cleaned out all the enemies. We don't, I'm not worried about enemies. And, you know, I could come just stomping up to your front door and say, gimme, gimme, gimme. And you'd have to. No, this is called integrity here. He pays them. Now, one core is 7.5 bushels. So we've got 20,000 of these. Let's see, a bath is 6 gallons. Wine, olive oil. We've got 20,000 of these. So this is, looks all, he pays good. So verse 11. Then Hiram, king of Tyre, sent a letter to Solomon. Because the Lord loves his people. Now this is Hiram, the pagan king. Now I'm beginning to wonder, because he just used the name Yahweh, Israel's God. Could it be? Well, I don't know. But anyway, he says in verse 11, because Yahweh loves his people, he has made you king over them. Then Hiram continued, blessed be the Lord, Yahweh, the God of Israel, who made the heavens and the earth, who has given King David a wise son, endowed with discretion and understanding, who will build a house for Yahweh and a royal palace for himself. Now that's quite a statement right there, but you can go back through the scriptures and see other Gentiles making a statement like that to Jewish kings, or maybe a prophet or something. The Yahweh, your God, the creator of the heavens and the earth. And it's kind of it just becomes kind of a polite way to talk. But it could very well be that this Hiram has, I'd like to think that he has thrown away his idols of Baal and Asherah, and he worships Yahweh now, the God of the Jews. But I don't know that. But one thing I do know, he's not being two-faced or phony with Solomon, because the deal's already been made. So he sounds pretty up and up. Okay. Oh, about this guy that knows everything about everything. Who's he? Okay. Now, says Hiram to Solomon in this letter, I am sending Huram Abi, a skilled man, endowed with understanding, the son of a Danite woman, and a Tyrian father, who knows how to work in gold, silver, bronze, iron, stone, and wood, and here's your expert tailor and your blacksmith right here. Not only that, he is a silversmith and a goldsmith, and he knows how to etch, and this is your guy. He knows how to make all kinds of engravings and to execute any design which may be assigned to him, to work with your skilled men, with those of my Lord David, your father. So there he's given David his due. Your father, he's given Solomon his due as David's son. And he says, basically, he said, I got the guy. I got the guy. Now, his mother is a Danite. Danites were a tribe. Live all the way up at the top of Israel. Dan, one of the 12 sons of Jacob, Dan. Now, that's who it was. But if we went back to Kings, we find out that's where she lives, and her husband is from Tyre. So he's a Gentile. She's Jewish, and this is where they live up here in Dan. But over there in Kings, it says that she's from, here we go, this section right here around the Lake of Galilee, and that's called Naphtali. That's another son of Jacob, another tribe. So she is of the tribe of Naphtali. This is where Jesus walked for 3.5 years, all around this country, even on the other side. Not to mention down to Jerusalem back and forth. So anyway, she is of this tribe. She lives up here with a Gentile from here. So, yeah. Okay, I forgot where I left. Verse 16. Or verse 50. Now then, let my Lord send to his servants wheat, barley, oil, wine, of which he has spoken. Verse 16, we will cut whatever timber you need from Lebanon and bring it to you on rafts by sea to Joppa. Oh, there we go. So they're going to cut these timbers, and they're not just going to cut timbers, they're going to saw big planks, one by stuff, because that's stuff the cedar is going to line the walls of the entire inside of the sanctuary. Cedar, and on the floor it's going to be the other wood, whatever it was, sycamore or something like that, whatever it was. But man, I forget. Okay. Yeah, and I don't know what that is, and if I remember right, nobody else knows what it is. But everybody's got an opinion. But anyway, it doesn't matter to me. But so the big stones, they're going to go up. It's going to have a flat roof with timbers, making the rafters. And then after that, I don't know what they do to cover it. They don't have, I don't know what they don't have plywood. So I wouldn't put it past them. Because you can go over to Babylon on the Euphrates River and find tar pits. And that's what they used to use that stuff for, to seal up a house. Uh, uh, so, okay. You send me the stuff and I'll send you lumber. And here again, this is finished lumber. Solomon has the plans. David is the one that got the plans from God himself. He is the one that drew out the plans. Solomon's got them. Now a copy has been made for Hiram, and he's going to cut every board so they don't have to pound them in with nails. I don't know how they're going to do that. Must be tongue and groove, huh? Yeah. So anyway, but that the whole inside is going to be lined with wood, and then overlaid with gold leaf, and then on the walls, it's going to look like the Garden of Eden, and that's what it is. But, huh? Yes, yes. Huram Abi. He's the half Jewish expert. He's the guy, but he's half Gentile. Well, anyway, here we go. With that promise that's always been for the Gentiles, that they are included, always. So I'm glad of that. I think I'm one, a Gentile. Yeah, but well, if you're not Jewish, you're a Gentile. Period. So. Okay, so he's going to set up this lumber mill, and he's going to have guys chopping down those big cedar trees in the mountains of Lebanon that he's already done for Solomon's dad, David, and he's going to put them on rafts there at Tyre, and he's going to float them down to Joppa, there on the coast of Israel, and then they're going to haul all this stuff to Jerusalem. Now, verse 17. Solomon numbered all the aliens who were in the land of Israel. Okay, these are the Gentiles living in Israel. And 153,600 were found. He appointed, verse 18, 70,000 of them to carry loads, and 80,000 to quarry stones in the mountains, and 3,600 supervisors to make the people work. Now that I get the picture of a guy with a whip in his hand, you know. I don't know if Solomon would stand for that. These are supervisors. Yes. Right. Yeah. Yeah, and again here, all of these guys, I take it, are on 2 months and off a month, according to Kings. Yeah. So, Well, we don't have time to go on to the temple construction itself. And again, next week, I think it'd be a good idea to look at that video, because the symbolism is not just, that it symbolizes the fulfiller, Jesus Christ. Everything, the priesthood, the animals that shed their blood and die, the innocent animals, the incense that goes up, the altar itself, and then you've got a table, a wooden table covered with gold that you put these 12 loaves of, they call it somewhere back in verse 4, the showbread. It's on this table called the table. Maybe it's called the table of presence. But the bread's called the bread of presence. So it sits on the table of presence. But anyway, those are the 12 loaves of real thick tortillas is what they are. And that's what the priests eat every Sabbath. When nobody's allowed to work, when nobody's allowed to fix lunch, the priests work. They burn the incense. It means they have to get the incense. They provide a burnt offering, a whole burnt offering in the morning and the evening. The priests work. They never stop. They don't get a day off. Well, the 10 Commandments say to, what it says about the Sabbath. They don't have a Sabbath. Their Sabbath is the place where they work. And eventually that Sabbath is Jesus Christ. He is the one that told the Pharisees one day, who accused him of breaking the Sabbath because he was walking through a field with his disciples picking grain because they were hungry. And they said, "You are breaking the Sabbath." And he says, "Do you know who you're talking to? I am the Lord of the Sabbath. I own the Sabbath. The Sabbath is me. That's who you're talking to." So anyway, so all of this is pictured in everything about the works and the building, all the materials, everything points to the person and work of Jesus Christ. So Solomon builds after David prepares. Remember, he's got stuff stockpiled everywhere, mounds of it. Solomon builds with a pure, true heart to please his God. This is not about him. And by the way, God is with him. That's a great definition of the word sanctification used in the New Testament for the walk with God, life's journey with God on planet Earth while you're still alive. Sanctify, walk with him, grow with him, have a heart that says, like Solomon's, it says, "I'm willing, I've got the will, you've got the power." And God says, that's the ticket right there. We can walk. So I better end it right there. Comments or questions? Nothing. No. Solomon's going to make everything 3 times bigger. I mean, it's all the basins for washing. Solomon has the ark, yes. Yeah, he's not going to rebuild that. That's the whole temple is the way and the truth and the life, and nobody comes to the Father but through it. But the Ark of the Covenant, that's a unique piece. Uh-huh. He's going to have 10 of them. Yeah. He's going to have 10 of everything. And but anyway, I could when you're going by, I just ran these off. There's good. You can keep them for next week. But if you want to look at the happy high priest, he's got a big smile on his face, but that's a pretty good depiction of how he's dressed. He's got his linen undergarment on, and then he's got this ephod with the breastplate and the belt. Would remind you of Ephesians 6. But the breastplate, 12 stones for the 12 tribes of Israel. This is the guy that stands between God and man. And if you've never seen it, there's a cutaway